Ladies and gentlemen, never in between. Welcome back to Talking at Six. I'm your host, 1-6, aka. They don't make them like this anymore. Hey man, you know you say that a lot, right? Hey yo, get the shout out to Red Man, aka. Wasn't she on Even Stevens? Why yes she was. AKA. I should have been a mascot. AKA. Why is there an unrated version? AKA. It's Attack of the Clones. AKA. I want to cut the blonde one. AKA. Weird place for a UGK song. AKA. I'm just saying. AKA. Bro, he be daddy though. AKA. They really ran that joke into the ground. AKA. Raw hamburger fight. AKA. Man, this one's gonna get me canceled. Today's episode, I'll be discussing the 2009 film Fired Up. And quick synopsis of the film, if you're unfamiliar, Fired Up is a comedy about two football players that decide to skip out on that year's football camp to go to cheer camp instead so they can try to hook up with as many girls as possible. And honestly, pretty much that's the whole plot of the movie. Like, it's, yeah, fucking jocks, like, they football camp's gonna be that year's football camp is gonna be held in El Paso, like El Paso, Texas. It's gonna be insanely hot. Like they don't want to do it. It's like it sucks. It's boring. It's hot. It's terrible. So during towards the end of the school year, there's a bonfire. They find out like cheerleaders are there. They're practicing, getting ready for cheer camp. They find out the football players find out about the cheer camp. It's like, oh, what? It's like, are there do guys go? Like basically like like horribly try like to be like secretive about like basically sneak and find out if dudes go and then like realize oh they do and find out at the same time as the football camps. It's like, all right, we should go to that instead of going to football camp because who cares? And they basically and it ends up working. Like they find out through the cheerleader that they had cheerleaders. They oh yeah blah blah blah. So they devise a plan to get there. They just hang out with cheerleaders instead of practicing football, which watching the behind the scenes like of the movie is funny. It's like it's pretty much what happened in real life. What would happen with the actors actually playing the two main characters. They had them. They've like either played football before or like played football players in like shows or movies before. That they only had them do like a week of football camp. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do football camp and do cheer camp, and like they're going into the training for the movie thinking, oh yeah, it's gonna be like weeks of football camp, and it's like one to 2 weeks of cheer camp and a little bit of cheer camp, and it was like a 1 week of football camp because they've done football before, so they like know stuff they got. Plus, they also got like actual football players to fill out the rest of the team, so they know how to make you look good, make the actors look good, And for the scenes where they can't like do things themselves, they just place them with actual football players. Plus, football is like a super small portion of the movie. There's one game and it's a scrimmage game and it's like it's completely like throwaway just to set up the fact that they are football players and football in the game. The movie's completely throwaway. Anyway, the actors had to go through 3 weeks of actual cheer camp, learning how to do like cheer routines and like the stunts, essentially like the tosses and like catching the cheerleaders and like all the different moves they have to do and like learning the routines they have to do because there's like 2 or 3 different routines they have to do throughout the movie and they have to learn the full routine and like the final one for the big showcase is actually all done in one take. Like they said the actor said they trained for it like it was going to be shot in one take. It wasn't because it's shot in like there's different angles, but like it is like they had to learn this whole routine all the way through so they can perform it all the way through without stopping. And here's someone's like, yeah, it's a lot like the movie because I thought I'm getting football camp for 2 weeks and 1 week of cheer camp, and I actually got just 3 weeks of cheer camp. And it was like also we're kind of only dudes there, so it's like it's kind of cool, but it's like yeah, it's like brutal fucking like training. Wake up at sun up, like wake up early morning, like real like I don't want to say like I don't know where I'm going with this. Like it's real like it's more intense than you expect it to be because it actually is like a lot of actual like physical training and like there's a lot of physicality in it because it's not like just it's not just saying cheers. It's a lot of movement. There's a lot of activity. There's a lot of like cartwheels and backhand springs and backflips and like you need like core strength and like cheerleading is more intense than it seems. But anyway, what in the movie is what that is full point of the movie is like they go there, they're gonna go to the cheer camp. The cheer camp's 3 weeks long, but football camp's only 2 weeks. So the last week of football camp, like the last week of summer, or last week they have a break. I don't know. They never really specify if it's summer or like, because the one game they play is a spring scrimmage, but they never specify if the camp is during the summer or not, because it's only 3 weeks. And I don't know that part. there's a lot of plot holes in this. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's one of those. I can't even say early 2000s because this is like '09. This is the end of that era. But this is one. This is one of those films that was the end of that era of comedy where it's just like, ah, yeah, wacky premise, like clearly aimed at like teenagers, like wacky high school comedy. But this is also the part of the era where like they all went to PG-13. Like they all toned it way down. Like they tried to get away with still got away with as much as they possibly could, and try to get as crazy as they could, but also without pushing it to R, like keeping it as PG-13 as possible, because like you kind of need teenagers to go see the teenage movie aimed at teenagers. You need teenagers to actually be able to go see, so you kind of can't push the rating that hard. But yeah, like they really like fucking this whole era of movies, like this whole era of movies, like really toned it down and really calmed down from what it used to be. Like this is like off the tails of like the American Pie era, where like it was the super crazy gross out comedies, but also like they didn't. None of those movies did super well in theater. Like American Pie did really big. It was probably like the biggest one. It did super huge in theaters, but a lot of those movies like did way better on like DVDs afterwards. Like the DVD sales were better. Like this movie, I don't know. It probably didn't do shit in theaters, but looking at Rotten Tomatoes, it's like a 20, I want to say 27% critic score, but like a 50, 51, 52% audience score. So it's like audiences like the critics didn't give a shit. Well, clearly, like this movie wasn't meant to be like a critical favorite. Like it wasn't gonna. This wasn't aiming to be like box office smash. This is clearly one of those like, hey, cult classic DVD movies. 5 years after it comes out, people buy the DVD like crazy and love it. Like Super Troopers. It's like all those kind of comedies, like where like fucking Pineapple Express, like all that, like the Seth Rogen era movies. Like, and this is I want to say right around that same time, like where Judd Apatow. This is around the same time as like Knocked Up, 40-Year-Old Version, like the Judd Apatow movies, where those were like starting to pick up, and a lot of those like didn't do super crazy in theaters. They did great on home release, and like the whole reason why I want to talk about this is because I feel like that era of movie is kind of gone. Like those don't really exist anymore. They still get made. Some of them still get made. Some of them still exist, but like it's not as common anymore because of like the decline in physical copies. Like physical media is going down. So like these movies can't go straight to DVD. They go straight to streaming. And when you do that, it's kind of like a platform exclusive. Like it's exclusive to Peacock, it's exclusive to Hulu or Disney Plus or HBO Max. Well, not Disney because Disney wouldn't do shit. Disney has their exclusive, but even Disney, like they used to have the VHS Disney movies, like the fucking main characters, like Aladdin spinoffs. Like there's 3 Aladdin movies. Who's seen all 3 Aladdin movies? Like honestly, like all the Disney princess movies got like sequels. There's Mulan 2, there's Little Mermaid 2, where it's like usually it's their kid. There's a fucking Lion King 2. Lion King got 2 of them. There's Lion King 2 and there's Lion King 1.5. 2 is about like Simba's daughter, and then 1.5 is like it's the first movie but told from Timon and Pumbaa's perspective, and like that was I'm pretty sure that was straight to DVD, or if it came out in theaters, it had like a really limited theater run, and then DVDs like because no one's gonna pay to go sit and watch this shit. Like it's literally it's the cash in. It's hey, you see the kids see this on TV, you catch the commercial for it, you catch the trailer, you go buy it. You see it in the stores, like sure, why not? You grab it. These are like $5 bin fucking DVDs at Walmart where it's like you're not really sure, but it's $5. So even if it's terrible, it's like it was only $5. If it's hilarious, great, you got a home run. You won. Even if it's bad, it's like it was only $5, and it killed an afternoon. It gave me something to do for a night. It wasn't that bad. Even if it was terrible, even though it was terrible, but it gave me something to do for the night, so it was worth $5. That era is dying out slash doesn't really exist anymore because, like I said, streaming. Like you go straight to streaming, so you can't really. No one wants to make a movie to go straight for streaming because streaming platforms don't share their numbers. They don't share their view statistics. They don't tell you like no one. Like, even people who make stuff don't really know how well something truly is doing on a streaming platform because none of the platforms share that information with anyone. And so it's kind of like you could be a hit on streaming and not know it. And so it's just like no one wants to take that risk anymore because there's money back in it. You got to put money. The whole point of this is to make some kind of money off of it. And so it's like you kind of can't really do that anymore because there's no way to tell like if you're making anything, if this thing is going to work out. So it's like, even with the straight to DVD risk, the straight to DVD releases being a giant risk themselves, going straight to streaming is an even bigger risk because there's even less information on how it's working or what to expect. So it's even harder to like get people to sign on to do these or like get studios to want to make them or get anyone to even like agree to do it because it's such a huge gamble. And I feel like one of the ways like companies really tried to like squeeze as much money as possible out of these releases was by doing the unrated version. Like they would release the theatrical cut, which a lot of times these movies were rated R. So it's like, okay, yeah, you got R DVD, or you can get the unrated version, which they would like advertise and build it up, make hype it up, and it's like, oh, it's even more intense, it's even more crazy. It's all stuff we couldn't show you in theaters. And a lot of time it was 1 or 2 scenes that was like deleted scenes that were like, oh, there's like one more joke in here, or like, hey, this joke has like one more F-bomb in it, or like, hey, there's boobs in this scene that didn't have boobs in it. It's like, it's weird, like, they hyped it up so much, based on like, it was gonna be so crazy, and a lot of times it was just like, yeah, it was like, it's the things we had to cut to keep this from going up a rating, because like, R, like, you got R, which you have to be, it's like certain theaters do it like before a certain time of day. You have to be with someone under like if you're with someone 16 and over, you can get in. And then after that cutoff, like after a certain time, it's like I think it's like 7 or 8. After that cutoff, you have to be 18 to get in. But then there's also the rating of NC-17, which goes above that, which is no one under 17 can get in this theater at all. No one under 17 is allowed to see this at whatsoever. Like you have to be 18 and you have to have ID. And like no movie really wants that rating because those movies don't make money. Like horror movies, a lot of horror movies used to have to like toe the line and try to get like tone down the gore to try to not get crossed over into that rating, not cross over into that rating, because like you don't make money on that at all because no one can get in to see it. So like no one's gonna see it. And those movies do horribly commercially. I don't think there's even a lot of movies that even had that rating, if any. But like the whole unrated thing was like, oh yeah, it goes even more, it goes even further. It's so much worse, so much intense. And all the time it's like, yeah, it was just something simple. Whereas like this scene went on for like 3 more seconds. Like the scene went on slightly longer. Or like, hey, they dropped one more F bomb because they were at their limit for the Triple, so they had to cut one or two of them out so they can get another line in. And usually it wasn't worth it. Like it usually wasn't that great, but it fucking sold because it was definitely a marketing thing. Like it definitely worked. It definitely got people to buy the other version, which sometimes was the same price, and maybe they charge a couple bucks extra just for that. It's like a little more because they got to cover the. It's a completely different. It's a new packaging. It's different packaging. It's packaged different. It's branded different. Like it's the same movie, but like it looks different, slightly different. It's like it's more enticing to get people to buy it, and really is just the same shit. But I say all that to say this movie has an unrated version, which I think is hilarious because it's a PG-13 movie. And so it's like the unrated version of a PG-13 movie. What could that possibly be? Honestly, I haven't seen it. I looked it up and it's like, oh yeah, I've seen the scenes. It's like, it's literally like some of the jokes are changed slightly. It's like, oh yeah, like the little sister in this, like she calls one of the, like there's a joke that gets ran to the ground by one of the cheerleaders clearly being a lesbian, like she's super into one of the other cheerleaders on their team, and like the one she's into doesn't get it, and everybody else picks up on it. And at the end of the movie, like one of the last scenes in the movie is like literally the little sister who's like secret. We'll come back to that, but the little sister calls her. It's like, oh yeah, no shit, Lesbotron is like, and basically the unrated version is just like that joke is like the fucking like it's a different punchline. It's essentially just that. Like there's jokes that are like, oh yeah, the punchline is that slightly different. Like it's I can't even remember what it is, but like there's literally during the credits, it shows all like the jokes they make that they couldn't, that they had to cut, that they had to censor, and it's like those run during the credits of the normal movie, and it's like they're still censored, but they're in the credits. It's like so you can see like here's the different takes they had for that line that didn't get past the censors, that didn't get okayed, so they had to go with one of these alternate takes. But it's like it fucking makes no sense. They literally have a coach that they call Coach Shit, like the head coach of the football team, because he just says shit constantly. He says the word shit constantly. He's like, all right, like as they're walking down the hall, they see him coming. He's like, all right, how many times? One of them says 7, almost says 10. Coach says, here's the thing. This one, once again, poking a plot hole in this. Not necessarily a plot hole, poking a hole in this. They say at the end, it's like, you were right. He said it 10 times. I count during the rant, I only hear 9 shits. And there's one that's questionable. So even with the questionable one, it's 9. Without the questionable one, it's 8. But like once again, who's thinking that much into this dumbass comedy? Me, all right, because it's what I do. I've seen this movie like 4 times. Okay, no one wants to see this movie. No one's seen that movie this many times. No one cares. This movie was funny. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's good for a watch or two. It's not something you want to run back constantly. You're gonna constantly run back to. You're gonna love all the time. You're gonna tell all your friends about it. It's like it's like you might get throw it on lazy afternoon, lazy Saturday. You're not really doing shit. You don't feel like getting off the couch. You got the DVD. You throw it in. You got it. It's on like Hulu. You're scrolling through Hulu, you're looking for something, you're kind of bored Saturday morning, you just want something to half-ass pay attention to. You don't got cable, so you can't do the classic TNT movie marathon. Just go ahead and throw this on. It'll kill about an hour and a half. It's not bad. It's pretty funny. There's cheerleaders in it. There's some eye candy. Oh, God. There's the mid-2000s eye candy, which I hate. No offense, ladies. No offense. No body shame anyone, but God damn, I hated this era where it's like literally every woman in this movie looks the same. Like it's the classic fucking like almost like yoga instructor body. Like where it's like, oh yeah, don't get me wrong, I get it, they're cheerleaders, they're supposed to be athletic. They're like, yeah, but it's like, God damn, dude, none of them. There is one. There is one thick cheerleader in this whole fucking movie, and she's on the team on the fucking she's on the main team, the Tigers, and like it gets kind of brought up by one of the cheer. So this is another plot hole I have. they have a rivalry with the top team. Like the main characters are on the team. The team they're on come in last place every year. It's like, yeah, we lose every year. We're in last place every year because there's a competition at the end of cheer camp. They come in last place every year. For some reason, their rivals are like the tier of the team that come in first place, like the top team. And it's not like, oh yeah, like, oh, they used to be friends and they fell out. I was like, oh, it's just they're rivalry with them because they're jokers and the only these losers are the only ones that are standing up to them. It's like, no, it's like this rivalry is literally started by the top team, like when they show up. Also, this is where that UGK song comes in. The fucking top cheerleaders, their theme song is a UGK song, which is hilarious. I don't know what you're thinking. No, the team is mostly white. So why the fuck is it why is your theme song a UGK song? It makes no fucking sense. This whole thing is like, I think it's set in either Chicago, it's like the greater Illinois area. So it's not even like, oh yeah, it's in Texas. So no, it just literally just say this song is cool, throw it in there. We'll get on, see if we can get it on the soundtrack. But like, yeah, and like, cause so anyway, the top team's called the Panthers. When they show up, they run into the main team, the Tigers. They run into each other. Like the Panthers see them, and like the Panthers walk up to them and start talking shit first. Like they're talking shit about them being the last place team. It's like, dude, you're in first place. Why is your rivalry not with the second place team or even the third place team or someone in the top five? You're at the very top. Why are you arguing with someone at the very bottom? Like literally the person that comes in last place every time. Like why are you starting a rivalry with them that makes absolutely no sense? It would make more sense if like, oh yeah, the last place team started a rivalry because we're coming for your spot and the underdog thing, like a Mighty Ducks, like the classic underdog sports movie where it's like the last place team is gonna come up to the top and fight the top place team because they're gonna take their place. They're gonna win. Spoiler alert, they don't. I think they finished like 17th overall. There's like 20. There's like 20 places. They usually come in last, and they come in seventh. They end up coming in like 17th place, and they're all proud of it because it's like it's better than they've ever done before to not last for once. I think there's like 20 places or some shit. It's like 20 or 25 places. Like it's like way better than they've done in the years. I forgot. They say how many places better it is and what they usually come in, but they never fully say what the last place number is. Anyway, what I'm getting at is they still don't win, so it's not the true underdog story. It's more of a hey, we're happy because we did better. We didn't totally suck this year. These two guys actually did help us improve the team, which also, classic, yeah, blah, blah, bullshit comedy storyline of, yeah, the football players eventually realize they actually do like cheerleading. They do care about the girls on the team. They realize they actually do have feelings. They're not just soulless make out machines, which is kind of what their whole character is for most of the movie. Classic, classic story. Any classic fucking comedy storyline, blah, 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 slightly romantic with the romancing ending. Anyway, what I'm getting at is my big issue with it is I still don't get why the Panthers are so mad at this last place team. It's like, it would make more sense if the Tigers came at them and tried to take their spot and got like second, and then like still would have been a moral victory. It's like, oh, you didn't win, but you did come at us and you made us like respect you. But it's why is the first place team like why are you punching down so low? Because like you're so much better than everyone at this camp. You can punch down to F like literally them going as anyone is punching down, but you're punching last place. And it's like I get it, like it's supposed to be for drama, but it makes no fucking sense. Like it's completely stupid. It's honestly a lot of the jokes in this movie are like damn kind of dumb. Like the whole lesbian cheerleader thing gets ran into. That's the one I said that joke into the ground. That one gets ran into the ground so hard. Like it gets brought up a lot. There's a lot of like like they never flat out say it. They like flat out say it like once or twice. But there's a lot of like oh yeah like there's one part where like the guys leave the camp, they leave the cheer camp, Beverly come back, apologize, realize they fucked up by leaving to go hang out with the football players, realize no, they want to actually be at cheer camp, come back, apologize in the middle of the night, and like one of the cheerleaders wakes up with the other girl in her bed. She's like, "Why are you here?" She's like, "Oh, I must have sleepwalked." And whatever, I'm here now. Just like goes back to cuddling her. It's like it's funny. Don't get me wrong, they're funny. There's a couple of them that are good, but it's also like it's when the other character shot a poke at it and like wink. We don't need the winks, man. It's obvious. Like yeah, she's the oblivious one. Don't play the audience like they're fucking stupid too. Like, just let it be what it is and let it go. There's also the Prohibi Dottie though. It's like the head of the camp, the head coach. He's like super energetic, super loves cheering, and like there's a move, the Fountain of Troy. It's Prohibi Dottie though. Like it's so prohibited. He can't even say it in English, so he has to tell him in Spanish. And like they run that fucking joke. They run the Prohibi Dottie though thing into the ground. Like he says it so much, and it's like, dog, it honestly almost stops being funny. Like it stops being funny. Like it's not a major part of the movie, but it's like we get it. We get it. You don't gotta say it 7 times. It was that era of like every comedy movie had to have a catchphrase. It's like I said, it's the Judd Apatow 40-year-old virgin era when like Steve Carell getting his chest waxed and screaming Kelly Clarkson like that. How that scene got ran into the ground, how that was everywhere, that was in the trailer, that was like the main thing from that movie. That was the thing that people kept like, even people who hadn't seen that movie, they knew that comedy, they knew that bit from it. It was that era of comedies, which I kind of don't miss that. I really don't miss that era because like I hate trailer jokes. I do. Like, it's funny. The rest of the movie could be good. The movie could be great. But that one trailer joke is what's going to outlive everything else. And it's like, by the time you see the movie, especially with the way trailers are played, by the time you see that fucking movie, you know that joke line for line. Without you ever seen the setup. So when you finally get the setup, it's like, oh, well, the setup for that wasn't that great. And here's the catchphrase where basically it's like, luckily, I've never been in a theater where everyone in the theater says this shit. I would fucking storm out. Dude, I would hate that fucking movie for life. That, but like, yeah, it's like a Will Smith and Suicide Squad. Would it be some kind of Suicide Squad? And it's like if they would have just left that in the movie and you had to go see the movie to experience that, it'd be bad enough. They put that, it would still be bad, but it's like, whatever. People will go see it because of that. It would still got memed, but the fact they put that shit in the trailer and then aired that, like, ran that into the ground before the movie even came out, they gave that movie zero hope. Speaking of movies with zero hope, back to Fired Up. But no, honestly, it is pretty well done. The jokes are pretty funny. It is pretty like some of them are a little much. Some of them go a little over the top. Some of them run like try too hard. But overall, it is a decent time. Like it's fun. They do movie night at the cheer camp, and of course they watch fucking Bring It On, and everyone at the camp knows it word for word. So it's like, oh yeah, they like play one of the scenes from and it's just them reciting every word to it, which is like, okay, I get it. That seems logical. These people that all their whole life is cheerleading, like they're dedicated to being cheerleaders. Their whole thing is cheerleading. It's like, yeah, of course they would love Bring It On, obvious. But there's also one. This is one of my favorite bits is like they do the classic trope of like the younger sibling being like clearly like basically in organized crime, like just this criminal mastermind doing all this stuff, and like no one really calls it out. One of the main characters, his little sister, is just like she runs everything. Like she gets them new uniforms that are sponsored by Staples because she ran a deal with Staples to get the common Staples screen time. So she got them brand new uniforms, and like it's like crazy shit. Like what? It's like yeah, don't worry about it. All right, just don't question it. Like she has like all this like German candy. Like she's sneaking candy into the church camp because all the food is like super healthy and just like salads and stuff. So like her brother and his friend like oh yeah, she's selling candy. Like what? Like she sneaks them candy. He's like what? They stick money. Don't whoa. They go to hand her the money. It's like whoa, no hand in hand. Put the money in the tree back. It's like wait, where's our candy? It's like check your pockets. Like she's just like super smooth criminal. She got like German sweet tarts. Like she's just super like OG like classic. She also talks like an old time, not necessarily old timey gangster. And yeah, but like she talks like she's like way older than she is. Like they were in high school. She's supposed to be like in middle school. And at one point, one of the characters like, no, seriously. It's like, how old are you? And because she just uses like old timey slang, like the slang she uses is like super outdated. And the way she talks is like clearly like beyond her years. And then like they go on a rant. Like, so like, no, comes back like, no, seriously. How old are you? Like I love that. That's one of my favorite tropes in just media. Period. Like I love that when like Bob's Burgers, how like Louise is clearly a psychopath. Like she's clearly the one like she's like always talking about the criminal like thinking the most criminal thing they can do. Like every time everyone comes up with a plan, her idea is usually the most illegal and like man whatever they get caught like super like like shoot out with the cops like like I love that when like you put that on the youngest character. That one's hilarious. It's also like honestly, now I think about it, I don't think any parents are ever brought up in this movie, which makes sense. King Kami, you don't need the parents there. They're usually there just for a joke. But like this one kind of reminds me of like Accepted, like in similar vibes to it, but also in the sense of like just that era. Like for sure, Accepted was also PG-13. Like it's the same era, it's the same like kind of vibe, which like oh yeah, just like generic high school comedy where like you don't have to go super crazy gross out with it. Like you don't have to go over the top. You don't have to go as far as American Pie did to still be good. And honestly, this movie pulls that off really well. Like I highly recommend checking it out. It's like I said, it's great. It's lazy Saturday afternoon. Just throw it on. Yeah, you have a couple laughs. Like you enjoy yourself, have a good time. It's just like you might hear a couple throwback songs that yeah, I remember that song. Like take you back to it. But yeah, like it's good. There's okay. Fuck. I was trying to end it, but I gotta post this one out because this one bothers me most. Biggest plot hole. They say like one of the cheerleaders like oh yeah, one of the other cheer squads like they go like practice their moves with them in the lake. And it's like okay, basically when 6 year old, I was like, oh yeah, like the guy tried to act like this woman. She was like, just cut it out, all right? There's 300 girls here. There's only 4 straight guys because there's other. So there's fucking what is it? There's those two. There's the two guys, the two main stars, and then there's like 4 other people in their bunk. 2 of the dudes are gay. One of them is straight, but he has a committed girlfriend. He has a girlfriend who's also at the church camp with him, who he's been in like long term relationship. And then the last person in their bunk is a mascot. And the mascots at the cheer camp, mascots also go to cheer camp. The mascots do not talk the entire time. They just gesture. They don't talk the entire time at cheer camp. They don't break character. They gesture the whole time. They do not gesture. They do gestures. They do not talk, and they don't take their heads off. So who are the others? So like, there's 3 straight guys in that same bunk. Who's the 4th straight guy? They never point that out. Like, they say that I was like, is the last straight guy supposed to be the mascot? Because like they don't gender the mascots ever. Like the mascot that's in their monk is an eagle who actually goes to the lake with them, which is hilarious. And like they all like just go and dive in the lake in their underwear. It's like, oh, we have swimsuits. Oh, we can go in our underwear. And like the mascot's like he's in a full mascot suit with like shorts and a hat on, and like he takes the shorts and the hat off and then jumps in. And then like when they go to leave, they all got the clothes and leave. And the mascot's there again, but they never show the mascot in the lake. My theory is it would fucking suck to be in a mascot suit, and a lake of soaking wet mascot suit would be insanely heavy and probably not, probably really hard to swim in. But it's like they never really call that out. But it's like, yeah, the mascot went with him, and then he goes back like that. It's hilarious. Like mascots crack me up. Anyway, my point is, there's a mystery guy. There's a lot of like things where if you look too hard and it kind of lines that don't make sense. Because let's be honest, this movie wasn't really bad. Like it wasn't trying super hard with the writing. All right, Jesus, just trying to be funny, just having a good time. Shut up, stop looking into it, stop overanalyzing. But if I did that, I wouldn't have this show. anyway, anyway, you got the time. Check out the show. Check out the episode. Check out the movie. Highly recommend it. Thank you for taking your time to check out this show. Check out this episode. Please like, subscribe, comment. Follow me on Twitter at Talk.6. Tell your friends, tell your family, I was gonna say tell your kids. Don't tell your kids. This show is definitely not kid friendly. I do review a lot of cartoons, but they are not. My views on them are not kid friendly. My dialogue will not be kid friendly. I do curse like a sailor, alright? But also drink like a sailor. Wee! Nah. But yeah, thanks for checking it out. As always, peace.